this is Paloma Pilar with palomapilarfitness.com. Today I'm going to show you a phenomenal exercise for shoulder strength, shoulder stability, and just in general overall shoulder health. It's called a banded pull apart, and I'm going to first show you from the front as well as a profile view, and then I'm going to talk you through a couple of cues I'd like you to be mindful of when you're performing the movement, just to make sure that you execute it correctly, as well as a few common mistakes to look out for. So first things first, when you're doing this exercise, you want to make sure that the band you're using is not too heavy. That's the first common mistake that people do, is they go far too with too much density. And if this were a loop band, a large loop band, if that's what you're using, meaning it would be connected, make sure that you're only using one end and not gripping both. And I'll go into that more here in a little bit. So first things first, what you want to do is you want to hold the band a little wider than shoulder width. And if this is something that you're doing for the first time, you may even want to hold it a little wider, just because with the tension and the movement, it can just impede on the benefits of it if it's too tight. So this for me right here is shoulder width, so I'm going to go a little wider. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to open and extend my arms behind me as far as it can go. And I'm going to exhale. I'm going to breathe in, exhale. Show you from the side. Breathing in, exhale. So that's the front and side view. Now, a couple of things to pay attention to and be mindful of. First of all, I want you to make sure that your shoulders always stay down. You don't have to force them and pressure them into the floor into a lockout position, but you want to make sure that they're not shrugged up to the top. You want space and daylight between your ears and your shoulders. Meaning, if you do this in front of the mirror and you see this happening, be mindful of it. Bring them down to a neutral and normal resting position, and so you make sure you're not shrugging. The second thing I want you to be mindful of is when you are also, so this would make it too high, and then bringing it down here would be too low. Now the issue with that is, like, if you bring it too low, it's going to be more of a tricep dominant exercise rather than a shoulder one, your rear deltoid. So to make sure that you're in a good line is when you pull the band apart, you bring the band towards your nipple line. And that's a good cue, because when you're bringing it towards your chest, you can feel, you don't have to worry, oh, are my hands in line with my shoulder? It's something tactile that you can feel, and then you'll make sure you're doing it at the correct range every repetition. Now this brings me to another cue I want you to be mindful of, and I'll show you from the side here, because a lot of the times what happens is when you're developing strength in your rear deltoid, if you're not there yet, or if you don't have core stability, when you pull it apart, one of two things can happen. Either your back will arch, which is a no-no, or if you correct that, if you squeeze your glutes and you tuck your pelvis, and you're not quite used to it, sometimes your head can jet forward. So what I want you to be mindful of is that your back does not go in this position. Squeeze your glutes this way, so you're nice and tight, and then make sure that when you pull the band, you bring the band to your chest, not your chest to the band. You see how that helps avoid arching? Because if you bring your chest to the band, then your body's going to have no choice, and then you're going to start working your lower back, which is what you definitely don't want to do with this movement. So you want to bring the band to your chest, and then you just want to make sure that your head is not jutting forward as well, because you're pulling it towards you. You're not going towards it. So I'm going to show you again in real time. We'll breathe in, hands are shoulder width apart, shoulders are down, my glutes are on. I'm exhaling as I pull the band towards my chest, right in the center. Yes. And those are banded pull aparts.